Hi, I'm Anatole, and this is my review of Twilight Zone, Season 1, Episode number 14, titled Third from the Sun, directed by rodserling, based on a story by Richard Matheson, an acclaimed horror and science fiction writer, and it aired January 8th, 1960, I believe. I'm trying to do this from memory now. Let's take a look. Yes, and it scored 8.2 on imdb.com, which is quite a high score. I'm going to have to take issue with that score. We'll wait for my critique of the episode. Now, before we get into my thoughts on the episode, let's do a brief plot summary. So join me after the intro while I'll go over the plot summary of the story and then give my review. See you in a bit. Welcome back. Now for the plot summary, courtesy of IMDb user Gary KMCD, and I prefer this plot summary over the one that is already on IMDb. William Sturka works as a hydrogen specialist in a highly secure plant, and the fact that he is making a hydrogen bomb is one of the points I'm going to bring up in a little bit, regarding how the show, the plot construction, tricks us into thinking that it's our Earth when it's really the whole time an alternate Earth. Conditions are tense and there are constant rumors of war, and so this is a reflection of the Cold War era that this show was made in and was responding to. The latest is that it's going to happen in the next 48 hours. Unbeknownst to his wife Eve and daughter Jody, he and his friend Jerry Ryden have been planning an escape of sorts for themselves and their families. Jerry is a test pilot, and they plan to steal the government's latest spacecraft, heading off to a planet they believe may sustain life. Their biggest challenge is Carling, a security officer who seems to be onto their plan. And that's it for the plot summary. Now for my thoughts on the episode. Regarding the construction of the plot, the way that it cleverly fools us into assuming that the characters are on Earth, even though the name of the planet's never said, the name of the country that they live in, that's never said. And as I was watching, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I was able to guess the twist of the story. The title, for one, helps, Third from the Sun, that it immediately led me to conclude they were on Earth. They were going to go to Earth, because Earth is the third planet from the Sun. And why didn't I believe that the title was about the planet they're on? Well, they never say the name of the country, and because I knew a twist was coming. And I think since this episode first aired in the intervening 50 years, is it 50? Yeah, 50 years, there have been a number of these types of twists where you believe that we are in current timeline on current Earth, but at the conclusion you learn either it's a multiverse version of Earth or it's just another planet. So I was leaning in on that being the twist. And then other ways where the show, I think, is fair. It gives you hints that this may not be Earth, while at the same time leading you to believe that it is Earth. So he works at a hydrogen bomb plant, a nuclear arms plant as a scientist. But his daughter says that she says something about her father, or it is a time of fear because there are hydrogen bombs, and there are, I think she says, turtle bombs, beaver bombs, and hopefully I've inserted the clip where she says that.
Beaver bombs and hydrogen bombs and gas.
So beaver bomb is not something we have on our Earth. So that's a clue that they are not on this Earth. And yeah, no names given of countries. Those are the big two. Another way that it kind of tricks us is because they're speaking in English, you're going to assume, of course, unless otherwise stated, that the story takes place in America, since they're speaking with American accents. And the clothing is all the same. So everything, all the dressing is similar to contemporary times. Similar clothing, similar idioms, the language is the contemporary. So all that's going to lead you to believing that the story takes place now on this earth. And the political, social situation is the same, where it seems to be that they're engaged in a Cold War with another nuclear power. Just a bit of trivia of note. Fritz Weaver, who plays William Sturka, he was only 13 years older than the actress who played his daughter. Yeah, the character's named Jodie. The actress was Denise Alexander. I didn't know that, but I looked it up because as I was watching, I thought, he kind of looks similar to her. And the actress playing his wife looks a little bit older, so I thought maybe I'm onto something here. And yeah, indeed, looking it up, he was only 13 years older. Things I really enjoyed about the episode. Great art direction, great music, great cinematography. The music was Bernard Herrmann. Some of his stock hit, like this stock space score that TV shows could license out. One part where the cinematography really helped. They decided that they needed to give a hint to the viewers that something was wrong. And again, I do think that this episode plays fair. Not every episode with a twist plays fair. I feel this one does. Gives you reasons to be tricked, but also reasons to suspect if you're really paying attention. And they did that in another way through the camera angles. So there were a lot of canted camera angles, a lot of shooting shots just a little bit above the actors. And there's even one point where they shoot below the coffee table and we're looking up at the actors. And all that kind of takes you out of the scene and makes you feel like, and then they're using wide angle lenses as well. So it makes you feel, wide angle lens is not the same as what the natural eye sees. And because they're giving you odd angles, you're just a little bit out of the action. And that was a reason they felt, the cinematographer felt, that would create a sense of unease that would then lend to the feeling that something was a little bit off. And I think that was well done. One note about the screenplay, that the plot construction is such that it's all built up to the twist. There's no character development. The only hint of internal conflict we get is there are a couple of scenes where the father needs to comfort or console or assuage the fears of his wife and his daughter. That's the only time where we're given any sort of trauma or neuroses or internal conflict. Otherwise, it's all external. It's the company that the families are working for and enmeshed in, the surveillance that's going on, and the immediate threat of Armageddon. All those are the factors, the forces of which the characters are in conflict against, and there's very little internal conflict, so we get no character development. All the characters are very thin. It reads more as an allegory for the contemporary situations. A lot of the Twilight Zones are allegorical. Some of them will have deeper characters and better performances. And one of my criticisms of the episode is that the performances are very flat. It feels at points more like they're playing dark satire than they're playing drama. The lines, though, aren't funny. So the actors are reading them like dark satire, but the lines themselves are very straight. So the performances are very thin, the way the comedic actor performances can be, where the lines should have had a little more nuance. It's very strange, and then one of the things I didn't like about the episode. But one way where the writing excels is in the deeper meaning of what role do individuals have in complicity with the actions of their state. And this is very much involved with the way that we judged German citizens and German soldiers and German scientists. What level were they complicit with the actions of their government? The Nuremberg trials, more or less, were a way of addressing that question. And the character, I keep saying the character, the man, I should remember the character's name. Is it William? Yeah, William. William says, when he's talking about how he has helped build the bombs that are going to be part of the destruction of all humanity, that he's only one of 50 or 60 people. He's just a cog in the machine, so that should that should take away the amount of guilt that he holds. But in Nuremberg, just saying only followed orders was not enough to clear someone. You had to be in direct and active opposition to the society that you viewed as doing acts of evil. You couldn't just say the machine is evil, because in the end the judgment would also be on you for enabling that machine. So in some level, William is guilty for having created the means for, or been a part of the creation of the means of destruction of the human race. Not sure if they're humans because they come from another planet, but humanoid, I guess we'll say. Now, the plot mechanics are a little weird. Carling is meant to be the antagonist. The greater force of conflict is the destruction of humanity, and Carling is just the means to the end of propelling the plot. So we have this weird interlude of William talking to his friend. His friend was Jerry, and they're using a drill machine to cover their sound, and they're whispering. And so after they finish, just before the commercial break, we get a stinger, and then coming out of the window, even though there's no need for him to go up there and risk being seen, is the character of Carling, of course. And it's not quite clear he didn't hear what they said. I think that's what was intended, because I assumed the first 2 times I watched he heard what they said. But the plot would go too fast otherwise. So then we get a scene of Carling coming in, and he's just trying to feel the room because he suspects something's going on. And he can tell from the nervousness of the two wives, or at least William's wife Eve, that something is going on. And then we have a little bit of the suspense, which I kind of liked, where he takes up the paper that Jerry and William have been drawing their plans on, and Jerry's trying to pull off that he's just using the wrong side for marking how much he has lost to William. And we see Carling pull this paper up, and on the side that we can see are the flight path to this second planet, this outer universe. Is it exoverse? Yeah, exoverse planet. I think they call it exoverse. And we're wondering, is he going to turn it over? But I'm wondering, can he see it in the reflection of the glass table? It's never spelled out just how Carling knows where they're going to be when they go to steal the UFO. So that's a weakness of the plot, the whole Carling conflict, the Carling antagonist, which really didn't need to be there. I think there was enough suspense in the plot, and I would have rather seen William trying to convince his daughter and convince his wife, spend time on the family, and have that be the device that's keeping him from the quick escape, than having this tool Carling come out that he really is just a stand-in for an authoritarian state, a surveillance state, because that fits more with the theme of being a reflection of the time period, the Cold War paranoia. But it doesn't work for me. And then my final note here, you can tell it's a story of ideas and not of action, not an action story, when the tale's antagonist is dispatched with one punch. So not much of a fight because it's not an action story. And that's all I got for the episode. How much to record? About 10-15 minutes. So we're good to go. Anyways, please leave your thoughts on this episode. I know that my criticisms are a little bit in a minority. I think I don't value it at 8.2 like some of the other people, but the fact I was not surprised at the end, and that the characterization was really shallow, I think those are the two things holding me back from holding it in the same esteem that other people do. So if you're one of those people, please let me know what you really appreciate about the episode. If you are like me and you feel the episode was a little bit weak, tell me what you thought, how you thought it fell just a little bit short. And that's all I got. So until next time, take care and be well. Goodbye.